you another Mythos video. So as you guys know, I've been playing around with a gadgeteer, and I was actually just fooling around in the game today because I wanted to get you guys some more footage, and I came upon this funny little dungeon here, which is called the Shaman's Cave. So the Shaman's Cave is actually a 3-floor dungeon, and it really reminded me of one of those Diablo 2 caves where you'd go to from time to time. But the particular thing about this cave here is that I noticed that it's basically randomly generated. Like I've said on my previous video, some of these dungeons are randomly generated, and I think that probably most of the underground stuff is randomly generated. And I find it really kind of amusing because it kind of brings you all that Diablo feeling, you know. But from an MMO standpoint, now I know that a lot of you guys wanted to see some party play, but the whole thing about it is that the game is still in friends and what's it called? Friends and family, so it's really closed access. And what happens is, I was even speaking up with our CEO at TGN, trying to get like some beta accounts so that we could give away in a contest or something for our TGN.TV viewers. But it turns out that we still can't. We really only have like these accounts because, well, basically our CEO has awesome contacts. So yeah, like I said in my previous video, this game is being published by Frogster Online Gaming, which is the European division of Frogster. And we still don't have any specific news on what's going to happen for the release of this game on the US. But I mean, I think it would be pretty ridiculous if some company wouldn't pick up this game and release it in the US, because I think this game is actually going to have a lot of success when it does come out. But basically, the whole thing about this game is that it's like a kind of spin-off of Diablo. It's like the history is all original. It has nothing to do with the Diablo lore. It's just it has a Diablo style in it. And I know that I've said Diablo quite a few times, but I mean, I don't know. It's just what it brings out in me. It just reminds me of when I was playing that particular game, and it just brings so much memories back. Like, for instance, right here where I'm kiting monsters around. I mean, this is so typical. This is just so classical of when you're playing a ranged class. Just move back, shoot, move back, shoot. This is the kind of gameplay that I can really appreciate. Like, the whole kiting, and there's skill involved in this stuff. And I'm actually fooling around with a couple of skills. I really don't know all that much about proper builds and stuff, and I'm pretty sure there's still going to be a lot of balancing changes. So I'm fooling around. I'm getting like these little drones that I can use, and this drone is actually quite amusing because like you pop the drone up and it just shoots lightning at stuff. And again, you see the portal there. That portal is going to take me further down into the dungeon, but I'm one of those guys that likes exploring the dungeon to its fullest extent. So I'm going to be running around this whole dungeon, exploring every little nook and cranny to try and get every chest I can get and every single thing that I can open. And just notice that on the first episode that I made with this character for Mythos, I was actually using a rifle, but since then I've actually found 2 handguns that I can use, and I'm like, holy crap, this is like really awesome gameplay experience. Like, I haven't really seen all that many MMOs or games in general where you have an RPG character that can basically dual wield pistols, and it's such a fun playstyle in my opinion. Like, just bang, 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 screw you, I got my pistols and I'm shooting people. So yeah, I was really entertained at the point that I got the 2 pistols. In fact, I'm looking at the commentary right now, and just looking at the commentary and reminding me of how much fun I was having just makes me want to go stop the commentary and go back to playing the game, because it was like really fun just going around shooting bears, popping my little laser drone there and basically shocking them. The thing about this drone, though, I picked this specific drone because it says it will interrupt people when they're casting. That lightning thing will interrupt them, so I have a feeling that this will be really useful in mage bosses. So basically for ranged mobs I make quite a punch with my pistols. For magic bosses, that thing is going to interrupt them, and for melee bosses I can basically kite them down. So I have a feeling that it's going to be a pretty effective combo there. So I've actually had a little bit of frame lag over here because I was doing some more stuff on the computer as I was recording, which was obviously a mistake because it's going to compromise the quality a little bit. But just bear in mind that these frame lags that you see right here during this video at certain points, it's not because of the game itself. It's because I'm actually just doing all kinds of stuff in the background on my computer because like I've said, I'm really short on time at the moment. I'm basically making lots of videos about lots of games, and basically when I try to do multitasking, but sometimes my computer can't handle it. So I'm sorry if you get a little frame lag here and there, but I still think that the video is fairly entertaining because now we're going to go down to the cave floor 2, and I was like, oh, awesome, multi-floored cave. So it's like the first dungeons I made were really short dungeons, just go here, kill this boss, go away. But this one really expanded the whole experience for me because I was like, yeah, I'm actually going down the cave and deeper down, and every single floor is randomly generated, which makes for a great experience. And now I'm going to be kiting these mobs. And also notice that you actually have to aim properly when you're shooting at the mobs. If you're doing proper kiting, you have to aim properly because there's a chance that you will miss. And I find that extremely important because a lot of the MMOs nowadays, it's just almost like this auto-aim kind of thing that you just click a target and then whatever you shoot just goes towards that target. And I like these little aiming mechanics where it actually forces you to aim around instead of just going about and automatically shooting everything. So that little spider there was annoying me. I had to shoot it down while I was sorting my inventory. Also, this Tetris-like inventory scheme is something that I'm pretty sure you guys will find familiar. And basically just, I don't know how to say this, but I'm really slowly falling in love with this game because there's just so many cool little elements to it, and I'm also can't wait to try out the other classes. But at the moment, I'm basically just trying to level up this gadgeteer here. Because I want to show you guys further content in the game, like what else the game has to offer. Like at the moment I'm in this dungeon which is bound for level 6 or level 7, and the fact that this is randomly generated, it allows you to run this dungeon more than once without necessarily being bored, because you won't know the whole dungeon just by being here once. You know the kinds of mobs that are going to be here, and you know the overall look and feel of the dungeon, but the layout of the dungeon can be just completely different because it's randomly generated. So you can come here, let's say with a friend, when we actually have more accounts that we can use. You can come here with a friend, and it will be like a different experience than when you came here by yourself, solo. So I suppose that you can come here and help out a friend and make a quest and whatever, and not be bored by watching the same content over and over, which would be the case in, let's say, a World of Warcraft instance. So yeah, I'm just basically trying to highlight what the advantages would be to this randomly generated system. So I actually got a boss here, which was War Poly, a level 6 boss, and this one was actually a little bit more challenging. As you can see that I actually took some damage there, and I was actually being forced into making perfect kiting. Otherwise, if the boss would get to me, he would basically nuke me down. So I'm keeping the drone on him, lasering him down, and basically pressing on and kiting the boss until I finally got him down. So yeah, this boss was actually like the first real scare that I got, and that was like, okay, the content is actually getting a little bit more challenging than I was used to, because the previous dungeons that I did with this character seemed a whole lot more simple, as in I could just stand there and shoot. And in this dungeon I was actually forced to kite a little bit, and especially when I got to the bosses I was forced to kite. But there was still a couple of mobs that were little pushovers, but yeah. So now I'm basically just looking around, trying to get as much loot as possible, because the whole fun part in this game, at least in my opinion, of a Diablo style game, is to just basically go around and, you know, collect loot and try to get as much gold as possible out of dungeons, because something that I really enjoy in MMOs is dungeon crawling, and this game seems to have a lot of dungeon crawling, because right after this this particular cave here that I came here because I had a quest, I got right into another one, which was also randomly generated, but unfortunately it was only a one-floor dungeon. I'm going to be showing you that in future video, but it was still really fun dungeon in my opinion. So here I went to the third floor, and this is usually the third floor is usually where you get the boss. So I was already expecting like a boss type encounter. So I saw him there, and it was this wolf called Red Eye. And I'm like, oh snap, he's not taking all that much damage at all, so he's kind of a little bit dangerous. So I'm running around, trying to shoot him, shooting my robot thingy to laser him down while I'm trying to shoot. And as you can see there, I was a little bit panicking and kind of missed a shot there. But still, just basically being able to kite him around. And yeah, this is the kind of action that I like actually force me to do stuff, like force me to run away from monsters because they're dangerous, instead of just staying there and mashing buttons. Like, this kind of gameplay I can really appreciate. And it was a lot of fun when I was doing him, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot you here, shoot you there, pick out my laser bot, yeah, shoot you in the face. One thing I did notice though is that at the moment I don't seem to be having a lot of mana issues, and I would expect that if I can just spam that little robot thingy, that there's maybe a little balance issue there, but I don't know. It could be just me, because maybe when I start leveling it up further, the laser bot thingy, it might actually start costing a bit more mana, and thus maybe become a little bit more challenging. And at the end of this dungeon, I actually had this chest over here that I couldn't open because you need a master key to open it. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Why didn't I get a master key along the dungeon? And it seems that since it's randomly generated, you won't always get loot that allows you to open up these chests. So again, that's another incentive to come back into the dungeon and redo it again, to maybe get the master key and maybe be able to open a chest. But since the dungeon is randomly generated, I don't really think that players are just gonna be quickly bored out of these dungeons, and especially because you always want to try out that new skill that you're going to be getting when you level up and stuff like that. You always want to go out, oh, let me see what this new skill does, and let me kill off a couple of monsters. And I just think that this is one of those types of games that you can hop in, do a dungeon really fast, not like an investment of say 40-50 minutes, and basically hop back out again if you want. So it's a game that allows for a bit more casual gameplay, and since it's free anyway, I don't really think you can go wrong with this game. I mean, I don't know, I just think that when this game comes out, you guys really got to try it out. So this has been Rurikhan for TGN.TV.